we look at themes. Now, themes, in simpler terms, we say themes. These uh, they are they are messages intended to be passed by the narrator or the writer. This is just a message. And in many cases, you find that we have the major themes and the minor themes. Now, in KCSE exam, the examiners usually target the core and the main themes because these main themes is whereby we get our very good excerpts and many questions to test the examinee to see how much the candidate has read the book and how much they know. Now, in this book, the main themes that we come across, one of the theme of poverty. It's very common. So remember, the book is set in Gambia, as we'll read, more so in Banjul, Gambia, and you'll see how the city is poverty stricken up to the roads are only repaired when we have visiting heads of states and people don't even get water. And if they get water, this water is rationed and it's now given to the heads of state to feed the fountains and not the people. That is one. We have a theme of poverty. Then, apart from poverty, we have a theme called neo-colonialism. Neo-colonialism. In Swahili, it's called ukoloni mamboleo. Here's whereby the people who delivered us, delivered us from the white man, they're the ones who now come and colonize us because now they want the power. And now, since they're in power, they do not need to be given to anyone else. Apart from that one, we have tribalism, and nepotism. Nepotism. Now remember, tribalism is whereby you favor your own tribe. Then nepotism is whereby you favor people who are your blood, people who are akin to you, very close family members. Nepotism. So that's the difference. Then apart from that one, we have corruption, very common in this book. Corruption, where we see that we have a taxi man who complains that he has to pay a lot of bribes for him to get to one point to another, up to an extent whereby he thinks that he should quit being a taxi man because all the money that he gets is given to the policeman. So there's no need for him to even do the business because it's like he's working for the policeman. In this case, it will be the army people. Then apart from nepotism, we have so poverty, neocolonialism, tribalism, corruption. Then we have a theme called delusionment. Delusionment. Wait, just I think delusion is okay. Yes, delusion. This one. Yes, we have delusion. Now, delusion is whereby you are hopeful that things will become better. For example, if you have someone who is a tyrant in power like a president, you hope that maybe this president one day he'll wake up and he'll become a good president, which is not the case. So you keep on hoping for a good future, but the future gets on becomes tougher and tougher as you move forward, and it becomes more unbearable each and every time. Then these are some of the themes. Others will look at them. Then let's move on to the character. The characters. Now, characters, these are people who help in the advancement of the plot. So we say these are people who help. Sorry, spelling error. These are people who help in the advancement of the plot. Now, remember, the plot is like the story, what is happening. So they help in the advancement of the plot. They're the ones whom we interact with. We see how they behave. We see how they react to different situations. Now, in this set book, we have six main characters. The others are called supporting characters. Now, the first one is from Kenya. Is called Karanja Kimani. That is one of the main characters in the book. The other person is called Ngobile Melusi. Ngobile Melusi. The other one is called Chineke Chiamaka. Chineke Chiamaka. The other one is called Saif Saif Tahir. Yes, Saif Tahir. That's very good. There's someone who is reading the book. I'm happy. Then we have their guide, who is called Afolabi. The, the other name, I'm forgetting the other name. What's his other name? Abiola. Yes, Abiola. Thank you, Abiola. And then we have the last man. This is the man who now introduced that document called Path Alpha. He's called the. mm, is it Longway? Yes, Longway. It's called Longway. Yes. Now these are our six main characters, and you will notice that the plot will center around them because it Longway is the one who recruited all the five members. And then Afolabi is the one who gets the four members while they're in Banjul in Gambia. Very good way of putting things. And then I'll explain to you why these four, not other people, as we continue. Now, the other thing that we'll look at is character, character traits. Now, character traits, these are the unique behaviors of each character. These are the unique behaviors of each character. Unique behaviors, uh, sorry, spelling. Unique behaviors of each character. Unique behaviors of each. What am I writing? Yes, character. Now, I'm saying unique behavior because each person will behave in a different way when they are presented with different or similar situations. Some people you can tell a joke, they laugh, others will get angry because maybe the joke is targeting them. So it becomes different. So these traits include something like, let me, irritable. When someone becomes maybe angry, sorry, they become irritated very fast. We say they are irritable. When someone becomes angry, they are temperamental. Tempera. Uh, sorry for that. Wait a minute. Yes, temperamental, or what people like to say, they are short-tempered. They're short-tempered. You can also use short-tempered. It's allowed in KCSE marking. Then, when someone likes giving commands, and if you go against what they are saying, they become angry. We say they're authoritative. Authoritative. And then we have other people who like to talk very much. For example, we have a girl by the name Fiona Mackenzie. She's a journalist. That one, she's talkative. She's talkative. And etc. and many other character traits. Now, you'll expect all these in this book. Now, as we read, maybe chapter by chapter, and as we move forward, I'll be telling you a certain. Now, I'll not read the whole thing, but I'm expecting that you've already read the book. So I'll be giving you targets that when we meet next time, read up to here. Then, after you've read, I come, we discuss together. I tell you, did you see this part? It means this and this. Did you see this other part? It means this other thing. Now, that way, if you've not indicated with your pencil, you can indicate it. And the beauty of our sessions will be that in case you read something in the same book, and let's say you do not understand what you read, you're at liberty to come during the session and ask, where I can help you, or even one of the members will help you, which will make us a very good family that works together. Now, Let's now go to the main business of the night, even though I've used 40 minutes to introduce. We start analysis. And for this book, I want us to start on page 5, the Roman number, page 5, whereby it has been written forward. The ones who have the book, we start from there, forward. So I'll try and cover as much as possible, even though I'm sure we won't finish chapter 1, but at least you'll see what has transpired. Now, in forward, if you look carefully, it starts by reading. Just that morning, guards had caught a man selling confidential documents marked for 100 eyes only. Now, if you have a pencil, you can underline caught a man selling confidential documents. Now, meaning that these documents, they were not meant for other people but for only 100 eyes. Now, 100 eyes, if you divide by 2, that means it is 50 people. Yes. And as you continue to read, inside the book, you'll learn that we are having a summit in Gambia, and this summit, 49 heads of state are visiting the summit to come and discuss about a document called Way Alpha. Yes, there are 49 plus the host president, that becomes 50. So this document was meant for the heads of state and nobody else. So if someone was caught selling these documents, what does it tell you? It means that this document has leaked, huh? and also we have spies. So that one is called espionage. So here is spelling of espionage. Espionage. So it means that there's someone who has leaked. So we have espionage or leaked information. So leaked government information. Government information. Now only this one tells you something about this country. This country, it has incompetent, how do I put it? Incompetent security services. That is one thing. So here we have incompetent security services. We, we're already seeing a problem in Africa. That's one. Now, if you continue to read, and just the last sentence before you end the first paragraph, it says, instead, the paper said the boycott was a result of a bitter disagreement that the heads of state themselves had had earlier. Now, this tells us that when you go into the book, we'll find that the 50 heads of state will not agree on whatever they'll be discussing. Now, if they do not agree, this one tells us that the African continent does not have unity. Every leader wants to fight for his or her own gain or needs. Therefore, we lack unity. That's a very good key point. And then next paragraph, it starts. I hope you're together. So the next paragraph starts. No Gambian has ever admitted that the man caught selling confidential documents disappeared. Now you see, this means that if someone goes against someone who is high in politics, there's higher chance or the higher probability that they might disappear or they might get into harm. So underline, man caught selling confidential documents disappeared. Now that one is called these are political disappearances. Now here we have a theme of politics. Just by that, that's a theme of politics. And remember, it's not good politics, it's very dirty politics. That's a theme. So underline hapo, man caught selling confidential documents disappeared. Then we have our first theme. We have theme of politics. Then we continue. Never to be seen again. This is to be expected. Think about it. If you were a Gambian, would you admit that the man disappeared while your country was hosting 49 foreign heads of state? Hadi hapo. So from 49 from would you admit that the man disappeared while your country was hosting 49 foreign heads of state? Up to where we have the question mark. Now, if you're keen, This is a question that was being asked by the narrator, but no one has answered the narrator. Now, if you have such a question in a set book or in a story, that is what we call a rhetorical question. So let me write it down. Here we have use of rhetorical question. Sorry, my bad spelling. Use of, yes, rhetorical, use of rhetorical question. Now this one, we are on page V, page 5. That is page 5, paragraph 2. That is the one, two, three, the fourth line. Fourth line. Fourth line. Yeah. Yeah. So anyone who comes and read the notes at a German paputafuta. That is rhetorical question. Now remember, a rhetorical question does not require any answer. Yes. Now, let me sh- give you a hint on what an examiner can ask in KCSE. Sorry, I want to say, yes, in KCSE, they can ask you to identify or explain the significant explain the significant style in the excerpt. Wanaweza kuuliza swali kama hii. So if they ask you such a question in the excerpt, and let's say they only want one style, watakuandikia hapa 2 marks. So wataandika 3 marks, 3 or 2. Now here's how you do it. In KCSE, ukiona wamekuandikia, if you have 2 or 3 marks, they want you to, first of all, let me show you here. So the guide is that number one, you have to identify. Identify. That's the first thing. So after identifying, you have to illustrate, and then after illustrating, you have to provide the significance. Significance. Yes, that way. The significance. Now, what do I mean by this? Let's say wamekuuliza explain the significant style in the excerpt. Na kwa our excerpt tumeona kuna use of a rhetorical question. So here in the exam utaandika use of rhetorical questions. That's 1 mark. And then you have to, then you put a full stop, then opening speech marks, then you provide that illustration. So we use the one in the book. Now, it's not a must for you to quote the whole sentence, but you can just quote part of it. So you'll quote part of it by using ellipsis and then writing 40 hyphen 9 49 foreign heads of state. Now, if you just do this, the examiner will know where you've got it from. So don't worry. It won't cost you any mark, but here, then you score the other mark. Then after this, you have to tell us the significance of use of a rhetorical question. Why is it so? So here, the significance. So it has been used. Sorry. So use of a rhetorical question. So it has been used to elicit curiosity, curiosity on the reader concerning the weight of the matter. The weight of the matter. That's now a complete answer for 3 marks in KCSE. Don't just give you, don't just provide short answers which are not conclusive, because that way you will lose the mark, and it's not good for you to lose the mark. I want you to get all the marks. Don't leave any mark to the examiner. So ukiona 3 marks wanataka hivi, If you only see 2 marks, you identify and illustrate. Hauweki the significance. If they want 1 mark, you only identify. That's how you use the marks to guide you on how to answer questions in KCSE. Then you continue with the book. Now, apart from that one, I did not see any other style on page 5. So allow me to go to page 6. Mhm. Then in page 6, the first paragraph at the top, it reads, before you respond, you swallow your anger at the critic first. Then you respond. The visiting heads of state have done well to express the view they have expressed, my friend. You tell the critic, look, we have freedom of expression in this country now, do we not? Is it not true that even visiting foreigners can now say, while on our soil, whatever they want to say? Now, there, uh, I saw that we we had something like a style, but it was a minor one, which is at the beginning of the paragraph. Before you respond, you swallow your anger. You swallow your anger. Now, that one is a metaphor. It's a metaphor or a metaphor. So you have a metaphor. Yeah. Now, a metaphor. Now, this one has been used to show the severity of the situation, because for someone to swallow their anger, it means that it's too heavy and it's too unbearable. So metaphor, swallow, swallow your anger, swallow your anger. That's a metaphor. Swallow your anger. Then you continue. Then apart from that one, the rest of the page, unfortunately, I only saw a repeat of rhetorical questions on the same paragraph where we have question marks. So I only underlined. You can also do the same in your book for you not to forget what you've already discussed. And that is all for page 5 and page 6. Up to there. Does anyone have a question or any addition to what you've seen? Okay, so I think that there's no one who has any question. Now, unfortunately, I believe tomorrow most of you have early mornings and you need to get to work. So, if you allow me to cover page 1 and page 2 in the next 10 minutes, is it okay with you guys? Yes, just to give you a small introduction to the book itself and to get you fired on to read the rest of the book as we prepare for next week. Sorry, the next time we meet. So here we have chapter 1. Chapter 1, that is on page 1. Now, this will be very interesting because I'll try as much as possible to read every word up to where I want us to stop. So we start. It starts by saying, four strangers, please underline four strangers, checked in at the Seamount Hotel in Banjul one evening. One of them knew of None of them knew of the other three. So underline that one. None of them knew of the other three. So there we have secrecy, just to help you know, or about being one of the four. And this will remain the case because unknowingly the hotel assigned them to different rooms on different floors in different wings. Yeah. Now let's move on to the second paragraph. Now the first one was building the plot. Second paragraph starts by, first to check in was a man aged about 60 years. His hairline had retreated all the way back to his crown, but there it had held. No more hair loss. Okay. Oh, yes, Naomi. Yes, hi. Don't worry, I'm even recording the lesson, so if you will want the video, I'll send it to you. There's no problem. Okay, good night. Too. Okay, so let's continue. So then it continues. No more hair loss. He had a strange habit of smacking his lips as he talked, appearing to shape each word first and to add voice to it only after. Now, I want you to underline from first up to after everything that I've read. Those are one, two, three, those are 5 lines. So after underlining it, on the left margin or on the left side of the book, write vivid description. That's a style. So we have vivid description. Yes, vivid description, that's a style. Now remember, vivid description is using of words to explain images. Sorry, using of words to explain things, people, or occasions. Sorry for this one. Things, people, or occasions to create mental pictures. That's the main work of vivid description. They create mental pictures. So these mental pictures, if you read this one, unaona huyo mtu ako 60 kwa akili yako, unaona the hair, how it has gone back, how his lips. Then you continue. Arrival formalities required him to complete and sign a registration card at the hotel's front desk. He signed it as Karanja Kimani, please underline that name, professor in the Institute of Development Studies at the University of Nairobi, Kenya. So underline Kenya. The hotel gave him a room on the fourth floor of its East Wing. Now, circle East Wing. Okay, now here is a question to you. Why do you think the writer chose East Wing for Karanja Kimani from Kenya? Do you have an idea? Yes, Elizabeth? Yes, exactly. So he's coming from East Africa. So Easting for him to represent the east corner of Africa, where the sun is rising from. Now let's continue. I hope you're noting it. So with a pencil, hapo unaandika kando. After circling Easting, unaandika East Africa, for you not to forget. Then you continue. Next to sign in was another man, aged about 70. He had a bushy mustache, which in moments of speech wriggled over his mouth like a moth fighting to free its wings, then fly away. Now, the whole of that I've read, that is also vivid description. But inside vivid description, we have another style. One, two, three. It's one on the third line. Now that one wriggled over his mouth like a moth fighting to free itself. Now that style, we call it a simile, where we have uh, his mouth like this word like nina kwa simile, like a moth fighting, like a moth fighting to free itself, fighting to free its wings. Yeah, that one is a simile. Then you continue. The man registered as Ngobile Melusi, comrade and citizen of Zimbabwe. Underline Ngobile Melusi and Zimbabwe. In the blank, his card for head for his occupation, he defiantly wrote not applicable. The hotel allocated him a room in the fifth floor of the South Wing. Aha. Remember, East Wing for East Africa, therefore, South Wing for South Africa. That's it. And remember, he comes from Zimbabwe. Now, Zimbabwe is found on the southern part of Africa. Then we continue. A younger man, aged about 50, also checked in, big and flabby. He looked like a failed sumo wrestler. That's also a simile, underline. He looked like a failed sumo wrestler. However, his feature was not evident now. He had buried it under loose robes, topped with one of those cone-like caps that always flop to the left side by design, not low. That all of that is vivid description. Then you continue. There was something about his eyes. They narrowed into slits when he relaxed, narrowed further when he smiled, and vanished altogether when he laughed. He registered as Chineke Chiamaka, underlined his name, pastor of the Church Inside Africa, CIA, in Lagos, Nigeria. So underline Nigeria. He took a room on the sixth floor of the West Wing. Aha. Now, if East Wing is East Africa, South Wing is South Africa. Therefore, West Wing will be West Africa. Huh. Now, let's move to the last paragraph for the night.